All right. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining for session 4, taking the next step, mid-career service offerings from RSPH. This is part of our mid-career workshop series. My name is Amy Parker Feiblkorn, and I'm here with Sarah Manis, and we are both alumni board members for RSPH. And this webinar, along with others from the series, will be recorded and they'll be available online. So just for context, the Mid-Career Workshop Series is 4 virtual workshops, and we're on session 4, designed to equip alumni with actionable steps that you can use to jumpstart, transition, or update your current career portfolio. So our hope is that after participating in today's session, you will have an action plan to help you actualize your career goals. So we invite you to use the chat feature to ask our presenter questions throughout the presentation. And you can keep it informal and join in the conversation throughout. So today, we are very fortunate to have Surgeon Popovic join us. He is part of Rollins Career Services, and he will be talking to us about all of the offerings that Rollins offers our alumni in helping us with career transitions or meeting our career goals. So thank you, Surgeon, and let me go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you, the entire alumni board, Michelle James, for the invitation. Very privileged to be a part of this series and to do this last piece for the mid-career professionals. Everyone, my name is Srđan Popovic, and I'm the Executive Director for the Office of Career Development at the Rollins School of Public Health at Emory. And I like, Amy, what you said. Let's keep it conversational. So today, for this session, there will not be any slides. We attend so many different webinars these days and sessions that are with a lot of visuals. So let's keep it in this intimate setting and conversational. And what I would like to do to begin with is just to talk about the services and opportunities that may be beneficial for our mid-career professionals to consider them, those that we offer here within the Office of Career Development at Rollins, but also some of the resources that Emory Alumni Association at Emory University offers for alumni. And lastly, I will focus a little bit on some of the external resources as well. So that in mind, we in the Office of Career Development, we have this slight anomaly where we are one of the very few offices within the School of Public Health that offers the lifetime access to services. And we're very proud for this service and regularly welcome alumni from different experience range where they come and reach out to us in the coaching capacity. So we have career coaches, and we provide an opportunity for you to connect with us in one-on-one setting. This is one of the most powerful areas when you have this resource to connect with seasoned, experienced folks within our office and really have the conversation that can be anything career related. And the spectrum is quite broad. So for the transition that you're looking to make, to talk about your unique situation, to develop the action plan and the next steps for it. So this service is available to you. You can schedule these appointments with our office. When it comes to mid-career and professionals and the transition, I would like to spend a little bit of time to talk about the networking piece. some of the areas that we offer and the services that we offer in the Office of Career Development that include this networking aspect for you to consider. If you have not known, we actually offer career fairs each semester for our current students. Now, for most of the time, what happens is the employers that we bring to these career fairs, which we average in the range to 60 to 70 employers per career fair. A lot of them will be alumni and also some of our long-term partners. What we have recently started doing is creating a space for these employers to connect amongst themselves as well as to connect with our faculty. So we have started offering this employer breakfast where it basically a space that's created for them to network. So why am I mentioning this? In case that you are with an organization and your organization is participating in the career fair and you're one of the representatives, this is the space for you to consider and explore to connect with other industry representatives from different organizations. Then we also do the networking events. Once a semester, we organize a big networking event. We just had one, which also brings many industry professionals from just different organizations. Most of these will be our alumni, but some of those will be just our employer partners. We actually, in this last session, the first part was reserved for the panel that talked about non-traditional careers in public health, and where these folks share their stories of how they make these transitions and the opportunities that they pursued. Then that session is followed by the networking piece. What we also do when we organize these big networking events, we also, for the first part, we would organize the mock interview sessions. So let's say that maybe you're in the phase where you're looking to interview for some of the positions that you're applying for, and you would like some practice, you can come and be part of it. Of course, needless to say, you can schedule your individual one-on-one interview preparation session with one of our career coaches. A couple of more opportunities on the networking side of things. So we also host once a year the Community Advisory Board. This is a more intimate setting, very intentional, very constructive, where we invite specific employer partners who to attend. This meeting is typically held in the month of January, and where we really come up on our end with some of the areas that we would like to hear their insight and thoughts, or perhaps some of the challenges. And these are being discussed in the table group discussion and then shared with everybody, followed by a lunch, which is another good networking opportunity for you to see if you're with an organization and you would like to participate in this, you can either reach out to me. I also have my director for partnerships and engaged learning, Onika, is the one who really spearheads this effort. And whether you reach out to me or Onika with your interest that you would like to participate, then just mind you, this is a more intimate setting. So we typically bring anywhere between 12 to 20 employer representatives from different organizations to have that small group discussion in the intimate setting. So if that's something of your interest, feel free to reach out to us. Mentor Rollins and the importance of mentors. Of Michelle, I can only imagine, and the alumni board, how many references to this piece you have had over the years. And we let me make a claim that we are all fully aware of the importance of mentoring. And for those of you who have not pursued this step yet, it's just so many thoughts in my head to say on the mentoring and how beneficial that is, to create your own tribe, those folks who will follow you throughout your career and your development, where you can bounce off different ideas. They can be your sounding board, share the challenges that you have. I know in my personal experience, it has been just a wonderful, wonderful journey having these mentors that I always treasure so much. So the reason I'm mentioning this, when it comes to getting your mentors, there are actually multiple different avenues for it. The one that we have in-house here is called Mentor Rollins. It's a platform where we enable current students and alumni to connect with other alumni and some other industry professionals within this customized platform. Another platform that you want to consider for this would be Emory's platform that's called Emory Connects, and that it kind of transitions me into to talk a little bit about the resources that Emory University as a whole offers to our alumni. So Emory Connects is a platform where you can connect with different alumni and seek your mentors through that platform. Then on Emory resources for alumni, there is also the coaching capacity as well, where you can meet with some of the coaches there and explore that avenue. Why, in our case, where we are more focused definitely within the public health, on the other side, you have these coaches who are just going to be, regardless of the area that you're for overall alumni for Emory. So you can try both, or you can just whatever your preference is. But here is really for me just to make you aware about those resources. Going Global is a platform that Emory Alumni Association also offers as a job resource, but both domestically and internationally. So, and there are some of the lifelong learning opportunities, such as the different learning and development workshops and webinars that you can attend, which I really consider for a professional development. It's always good to seize those opportunities because there are some of the nuggets of knowledge that can really be a powerful change agents for your personal needs or the trajectory that you're looking to embark. Then Emory Executive Education, I personally attend, I try to attend as many as I can of these. They do a bi-weekly business over breakfast on Thursday mornings, and they bring tremendous speakers there on different topics. One of the latest one was the AI related session. So I would just encourage you to consider that for your professional development. And then there is also the division of Emory Continuing Education, which offers different courses and certificate programs that you can consider for your professional development. The external resource that I would just like to spend a little bit of time to talk about is LinkedIn. And I'm not sure for how many of our attendees on today's call you've previously attended any of the sessions related to LinkedIn or what your presence is, but the reality is that this is the biggest professional network that's out there. It has become really a monster, and it's not going anywhere. It's just going to be developing. The numbers of the users and the organizations that use this platform is just, we're talking about billions of folks. And also most of the recruiters of organizations, they're leveraging LinkedIn for their recruitment. So you definitely want to, if you have not already, you want to spend some time and to just work on your profile and your presence. I actually, here for our current students, I do typically once a semester just a workshop on LinkedIn and talk about the different strategy on utilizing. I'm happy to share my thoughts and some of the strategies on it in this setting as well if you have some specific questions. But where I see it being very powerful is that you have in today's world, you have a platform where you can reach out to almost anyone from any organization out there, that you can connect with them. And to me, that is just incredible. So if we talk about creating your tribe of mentors, LinkedIn can be a powerful tool for that. You can find a person who is, let's say, in the desired career path, or you're just you, for whatever reason, you have a lot of affinity for the experience or maybe things that they have done. You can connect with them and you can request to have these. The professional term is informational interviews, but I call them career chats. You can make that outreach and just request to meet with them respectfully, 15 to 20 minutes of their time, respecting their time. And what you will be surprised finding out that people are willing, and they're willing to help, and they're willing to just to talk about them, because it's literally you're asking questions and they're talking about themselves and their accomplishments. This is something that I have done myself. It does work. It's really amazing. I mean, again, those are just some of my short notes about LinkedIn. I'm happy to explore more on it. So these are, when it comes to our mid-career professionals, these are the overview of the resources and opportunities that I wanted to just to talk to you about. If I were to kind of cluster them in two groups, one is I see when it comes to these resources and services, you have that individual one-on-one opportunity with a career coach, but there is and then there is the networking piece and there is the mentoring piece. So actually that would be kind of three categories, although the networking and mentoring, they kind of blend into one category from my perspective. So I'm going to pause here after this overview, and that we can really have a conversation or any questions that's on your things that are on your mind, that we can talk more about it.
Thank you, Surgeon. That was super helpful to hear everything available to our alumni, from coaching to mock interviews to Mentor Rollins. We do have a few questions that have popped in through the chat, so I'm just going to start going through those. And if others want to jump off mute, please go ahead and do so. But the first question is from Karmjeet, and she asked, what options are available to those outside of the Atlanta area?
Karamjit, thank you for your question. And so when it comes to these resources that I mentioned, the first one, one of the most powerful ones, actually, these career coaching sessions, we can do them virtually. As a matter of fact, these days, post-COVID, the majority of our career coaching appointments, even with current students, they're virtual. They also come and see us in person, but that is definitely an option for you, regardless of where you are, time zone, all of that. Of course, you would have to be within our working hours. Typically, these coaching appointments, they're scheduled from 9:30, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in that Eastern time. So as long as you can make that happen, it really doesn't matter where you are. The other opportunity to seize virtually, looking at the list of those that I mentioned, business over breakfast webinars and other webinars that are being offered through Emory Alumni Association, you can attend those virtually as well. LinkedIn strategy is all virtual, that I briefly talked about, and how to build your mentors, as well as Mentor Rollins platform. Mentor Rollins platform, you would just create your account and find those mentors through there and connect with them, and then you continue to have those conversations virtually. So really, out of everything that I talked about, the only aspects of networking, community advisory board, is in person. That's so that wouldn't be a virtual option, but career fairs, the breakfast is also in person. So you can participate as an employer to interview students virtually because we have the virtual career fair, but the actual networking piece with other organization representatives would not be able to do virtually. And yes, that would be all.
Thank you. Can you please tell us more about the coaching? How would a mid-career alumni get connected with a coach? Are they assigned a coach? Are you allowed to select one? Any information about that? And a follow-up, actually, there's like two follow-ups. Can you explain the difference between Mentor Rollins and coaching? And when is it better to connect with a mentor versus a coach? So there's like a number of sub questions in that question.
Sure, that's great. I love these, so thank you, and please keep them coming. So the first one of how would you actually connect with our career coaches? So we utilize a platform that we called internally RSPH Career Connection. It is powered by a system called 1220, very modern platform, and this is where the hub of career services is. So for our current students and alumni, this is where you can see the different job opportunities. This is where the appointments can be booked. You can see the list of events and so on. So it's really the hub for us. I'm not sure if Amy or Michelle, if there is in the follow-up with any of attendees, if we can just share the link for our 1220 platform, you can create your account there as an employer, as an alumni. You would request the access. And actually, folks, if you don't mind me, I can just make this relatively quickly to make it easy for you, Michelle and Amy. Let me just find a link for you would just need to complete a form, and our systems team would provide you the access to this platform. And I'm going to drop it in the chat now for everyone. That would be the systems form. So just fill it out, submit the information, and our systems team will provide you. So I hope for the first part that answers the question. So once you get the access for our 1220 platform, then you can see under the appointments tab the availability of coaches, and you can schedule the session to meet with them and have the conversation on the topic, which, by the way, when you're scheduling the coaching appointment, you can select out of the topics listed what is your preferred area of topic. And of course, if you change your mind, that's fine, but you're really giving a advance notice to the career coach that this is the topic that you're planning to discuss with them. On the other side, the second part of the question was the difference between when do you use coaching versus mentoring. So, well, the career coach is going to be the person who is going to work with you to help you navigate a career challenge or a topic that you have. Now, and it's going to tailor and develop a plan with you. With mentors, you can potentially do that, but it depends how you develop that relationship with your mentor. Mentors are more, from my perspective, I mean, they can be powerful for different areas, but one is to really to share their experiences, but also to be a sounding board for you, where they can provide you an opinion. But with a coach, it's more intimate work in the development of your plan and the next course of actions. So that would be just my response to the second part.
That's helpful. Thank you. Do you know, like for some of these opportunities, surgeon, like if you wanted a coach or a mentor, do they fill up fast or are they always available? Like if you hit a breaking point in your career and you really need that extra guidance, can you reach out at any time? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so you can, for career coaches that we have here in the Office of Career Development at Rollins, you can reach out to us anytime. If there is a moment when you notice that there is no availability, you can send us. We're typically pretty good in putting the availability out there so that that there is always times available for students and alumni to book us. We are currently just going under some transitions, and some of the personal personal adjustments, both on my end and one of my colleagues who is one of our lead coach. But those things are temporary. But when we look out of throughout the year and in the upcoming years, just know that you can reach out to us and connect with us any time. And in case if I'm also going to share something else with you in the chat. In case, again, if you don't see availability under the appointments tab, this is the contact info for the Office of Career Development. That's the email. Amy, could you remind me just about the second part? There was something else that I didn't answer.
Well, whether or not like the opportunities fill up fast.
For the coaching appointments, we are again, our goal is to always have something available. So again, if there is no availability, then you can reach out to us. But then related to mentors, and I think you previously mentioned, Amy, that when would I use this throughout my career? If I could if I could leave you with one of the messages, for today, specifically when it comes to mentors, let's say that you currently don't have any mentors. What I would like to see you invest your time in one of these through different resources that we mentioned, whether that's Mentor Rollins, whether that's Emory Connects, whether that's LinkedIn, in your outreach to get this mentor. Or actually, sometimes the mentors can be met during some of the networking events, whether they're here at Rollins or whether you see some of the events that are in your area that are happening. That's where the initial connection establishes, but then the initial connection may become a mentorship relationship. So I'm a strong advocate for having the mentors at least, at least one, but ideally you want to have about 3 to 5 of them that they can be your little tribe, your tribe of support that it's following you throughout your career. So, and what's important here is that you have to, as a mentee, you have to be that initiator and you have to maintain that relationship, because typically the mentor in a lot of instances is somebody who is with experience. They have more experience in the area, and that they can, so let's say that they can be busier than what you are, right? So, and you're the driver of that relationship. Just like for my mentor, I know I set up the times for me when I make that outreach, and I say, are you available during this month that we can do our session? And so you drive that, and really when you come to those mentoring sessions, because it's their investment in you. They're giving you their time. I would try to come prepared as much as possible with a list of questions for the topics. What are the topics or the challenges that you want to discuss for that session? And that's what I mean. As a mentee, you have to be the driver. You have to drive that relationship. So I hope that this was helpful. And Amy, I'm sorry, you're muted.
Thank you, Surgeon. That was very helpful. For the next question, comes from Yvette Moore, and she asks, where can we find the details for the business over breakfast?
Mm-hmm. Business over breakfast. Thank you, Yvette. Yvette, nice to see you again. We've connected at some point in the past. Let me see the business of, if I can tell you that if you go to the Emory Alumni Association resources for alumni, the business over breakfast resource will be under the lifelong learning section. I wish that I don't have the link open at the moment, but if you give me a couple of moments, I could probably find that for you.
Thank you.
Of course. Let's
While
see.
you're looking for that link, Surgeon, I'm just
Mhm.
going to go ahead and ask you the next question from Karmjeet. She says, thank you. This was helpful. Are there networking and career fair opportunities available in other states?
So from the Office of Career Development, we do not organize those. Perhaps Michelle may be able to provide some of the information on that. I know that from time to time there are events that are being organized in different cities, and but for our office, we don't organize and host those at the moment.
Great. Anyone else have any other questions for Surgeon? Carmen or Sarah, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Sorry, I'm having trouble unmuting myself. I don't have anything to add at this point. I think everything's been really helpful.
No, I was gonna know, I think the overview is really insightful. And I think one of the things that we were thinking about when wanting to invite the career services is that oftentimes as alumni, you're aware of the resources while you're a student. But once you leave, you're uncertain of where that fit is. And I can speak for myself. I felt as though when I left Rollins, my role as an alumni was to provide support and not receive support. So I think it is helpful to understand what those current resources and offerings are and how to kind of get plugged in and, have it consistently on top of mind as I can still lean to Rollins for support and not simply as on the other end, like serving as a mentor or providing, resources for current students.
Carmen, thank you for sharing that feedback, and just kind of my 2 cents on that is that really for this session, from my perspective, I wanted to focus more when we think about the mid-career professionals, what would be the most beneficial for them. But based on everything that you said, for the recent alumni, there are additional resources. I just didn't see them as that I would be as relevant to this group, when we talk about the mid-career professionals. And by the way, Yvette, I did drop the link for Business Over Breakfast in the chat, so hope that was helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, one of the things that we've been seeing are like with mid-career professionals that they're transitioning, particularly sometimes into an entirely new space. So some of the resources for recent alum may be relevant or applicable for quote unquote, like your mid-career as well. There's just a lot of gray area that we've been seeing and talking about mid-career transitions. So, not to exclude some of those resources that we would typically see for recent alum, for those in like mid-career transitioning phases.
Sure. And really, when it comes to transitioning, the most two powerful areas I would indicate just working in the one-on-one with a career coach, and the second one that's equally, if not more powerful, is really connecting with these individuals to explore the trails that others have blazed before you, as the line would say, which is to me is just a very, very powerful thing. If you have an individual who, let's say, dedicated 10, 15, 20, 25 years to an area and they have excelled, and the amount of experience and all of that, and that if you connect with that person, I mean, think about the amount of insight, the richness, the potential guidance for the next step, what worked for them, that's why really these mentors, or if you don't get to create a mentor relationship, if you just connect with them just for one session, which I had some of these sessions with the folks that I made the outreach over LinkedIn, who are just even the different types of industries, but I wanted to hear their insights, just if it's just one session, if you don't get to create the mentoring relationship, but most likely, because people are I remember even in my instances, I would ask them, would you be open if we meet again? And the answer is yes, because it's easy for them because they're talking about themselves, but you're also being very respectful, professional, and you don't ask a lot of their time. You ask for short sessions because they're really I think a lot of people are innately, they want to give. And that's something that I have to say, especially to this group now. If you have not heard me before, I know Michelle James has, Amy, maybe you, but I have, for the time that I've been here at Rollins, I've been just very, very touched by our alumni, their willingness to serve, willingness to serve, and to share their experiences so generously with the current students and all that. I'm just in awe and admiration for that, and just a huge respect. And I'm gonna send it here a heart.
Thank you, Surgeon. Yeah, it's just remarkable to see everything that is available to us. Like when I look, at the whole list of different opportunities, you really touch on so many key areas. Like, as Carmen was saying, for a mid-career professional, some of us, are looking at transitioning into a different part of public health or from public sector to private sector. And we might not have interviewed in many years. And so to have opportunities free available to do mock interviews and to practice in different settings, just as a resource that is available, or to talk about that ahead of time, through a mentor that we can connect with on Mentor Rollins. It's just such an excellent resource available to all of us. And this, is so helpful today to just be reminded that we have this extensive amount of resources at our fingertips, and helpful folks like you and your team that are willing to, share and help us access, all these different services.
Amy, thank you so much for those kind words.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have any questions? I see in the chat, it looks like Karmjeet had a follow-up question to Michelle regarding some of the career fair opportunities and other events in various cities. And Michelle said, we do host events in other cities like DC, Chicago, New York, and San Fran. And, you can find more information about these, like if they're Rollins specific events or Emory events. They host alumni events everywhere. So I think it would just depend, if you're like jumping in on a more broader event versus a Rollins one. Any other questions for Surgeon? Surgeon, did you want to give us any more of your tips for LinkedIn for mid-career professionals specifically? Oh, and it looks like Parmjeet has another question as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been really helpful, and I'll have to revisit the recording because I was trying to note down everything you were saying, but there's just so much information. So I really appreciate you sharing all of that and all the links in the chat. So I joined a few minutes late. I was coming from another meeting from work, so I wasn't sure if we talked about. From my understanding, I think the session was also supposed to focus on like action planning. So I wasn't sure if this was kind of an introduction to that or ties into that, or if there's other things that I might have missed in the beginning that we talked about when it comes to action planning.
So thank you for that, Kamjit. And when it comes to actions and the next steps, I think it really depends where you are in your career journey. So the next action step can be related to from the first resource that I mentioned. If you are at the point where you could use some help by meeting with a career coach, is to schedule to if you would like to meet with our career coaches in the Office of Career Development, then that would be to get the access to the platform, schedule the session with the career coaches, or if you want to meet with the career coaches that are available for the Emory University alumni. So that would be the next step. When it comes to working on your network and on your mentors, that would be also the actionable item for that would be to set, if you currently don't have any mentors, to set weekly goals of outreach. So let's say that if I talk about LinkedIn, for example, that you identify based on your target organizations. Let's say that there are some organizations in mind where you would like to transition into, and that you take a look at those organizations, for example. And I'm not sure. Let me try. Yes, I am available to share my screen. So let's do some screen time just to color it a little bit. Maybe because you have missed to see so much the actual screen. No, we have so much screen time these days that nobody's missing it. I have to joke about it, but let's say that Karmjit, that maybe one of the organization for you would be American Cancer Society, right? So when you go to American Cancer Society page on LinkedIn, I don't know if you ever noticed, but for the organizational page, there is the People's tab. So what's powerful about this, and you can see when I click on the People's tab that you have about 7,500 folks who can be associated with American Cancer Society. You can see different types of filters here, where they live, where they studied, what they do, what they're skilled at. And based on if the location is the thing, or if you want to connect, let's say, with somebody from Rollins, then you would filter this by where they studied, Emory University, and then it shows you all of these individuals. So the action item, let's say, as I'm illustrating this example, would be to find why are we looking to immediately to find those who are affiliated with Emory University? Well, because you have a shared affiliation. So it immediately makes it easier for you to establish that connection, which you can reference in the note that you send them. I'm a fellow Rollins alumni or a fellow Emory alumni as yourself, and I have noticed this impressive experience of yours, and I would just like to ask you for 15 or 20 minutes so we can chat. Would you be available next week? So what you're doing is you're establishing the shared affiliation. You're being respectful and asking just for very little of their time, and the next week is always better than this week, as people are busy, right? But here, the power of finding these folks, when you do the filtering, you can see them all listed and you can review their experiences. You can review their experiences and somebody who resonates with you. So what I would like to remind you that for all of you, you have also your bachelor's institutions as well as the university, I'm sorry, where you completed the master's. So maybe you can look based on, let's say that you went to either Brown or you name it, whatever school that is, California State University, that you can select those individuals because you have the shared affiliation with them. So then when you make that outreach and you can see if there are individuals who went to that school, depending on the organization that you're looking. But let's say that I mentioned universities. So how you can, let's say that you went to Virginia Tech, you can do the same applies to what I just showed you for organization. The same applies for university. So when you go on the university page, you can see alumni tab here. And then you can just give me a moment as this loads. So for Virginia Tech, there is 204,000 alumni here. And you can filter them based on where they work, where they live, and so on. So once you filter them, then those individuals will be listed here and you can make the outreach to them. So again, shared affiliation, that's my starting point. Because a lot of folks, they feel very proud and connected about you see the references, the license plates, you name it, there's a sense of pride about the school you went to. And if that is the case with your undergrad institution or with Emory and Rollins, then you use some of these filtering that are available on LinkedIn to find those professionals and connect with them and have these career chats. I hope that was helpful.
Thank you, Surgeon. Does anyone else have any follow-up questions for Surgeon? Well, it was just great to have all of these resources listed out and a little nugget of information about all of them. I continue to learn about everything that's available for me and for all of our alumni. So, Surgeon, do you have any closing words of wisdom or thoughts that you would like to share?
Thank you, Amy. My closing words of wisdom or a tip is related to a connection. It has always fascinated me how a random connection can impact our career path and our career development. And I'm leaving you with a message to believe that you just don't know what can come out of randomly meeting or connecting with somebody. And the power of that is when you initially let's say that you connect with these folks and you have just a chat, and we humans, I don't know, maybe because connection is so innate to us that there is immediately we make these impressions, and the way if we resonate with somebody, it immediately creates that bond. And why is that bond important when it comes to your career progression? Well, if you nurture that bond and that person knows your skill set, they know what you're capable, and they like you, you are going to be in the line for that next job within their unit, department, organization before that position gets posted. So that is you've studied public health. I don't know if all of you are currently, specifically in public health, who is so trying to be so proactive about things. What I just shared with you is the proactive approach to your career transition and to your career journey. So try to be on a proactive side to line up yourself for that job before it gets posted. And then the posting will be just a formality because you will be that candidate. That's what I'm leaving you with.
Thank you. And with all of the different opportunities available, you certainly make that more of a reality, to get connected with a person in a field that you might be looking to transition to, or to have, that mentor who has been at a higher level in a career field that you're already part of, but maybe didn't have access to before, joining Mentor Rollins. So I am really amazed and impressed at everything that Rollins offers to all of us. It's not just the current students, it's not just the new grads, but those of us that are midway through our careers. There's just an abundance of different opportunities, and you've just highlighted so many of them. And with all the links in the chat, there's a lot that we can do to follow up and learn more on our own time. So thank you again. We just really appreciate you sharing, you know, all of these different services, this lifetime access to these services. And, you know, as we wrap up this 4-part series, we hope that those of you who've been able to join the first 3 sessions and today's session, you know, can take all of these different nuggets of information and pearls of wisdom about career transitions, entrepreneurship, consulting, and now career services that are offered by Emory RSPH, and use all of this information to move forward so that the second half of our career life is as fulfilling as we want it to be. So thank you again, Surgeon, and thank you all for attending.
Thank you so much, Amy, again for the invitation, and being impressed is definitely mutual.
Thank you. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.